Welcome back to stage one, everybody. Now, I know that the person that we're going to have on the stage needs no introduction, but I can say that I cannot think of a better person to talk about the future of charter industry other than Ioannis Savvidis. Welcome, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Yelena. Hello, everyone. So happy to be second day on stage, talk about the future of our lovely industry. One little thing I got out of the whole day yesterday at the summit is like, when I did the presentation at 11 o'clock, and then I watched all the panels and everything was discussed, I realized that either I've been cheated or I cheat the rest of the discussions, because all the topics were constantly consumed in the discussions, which make me very, very happy. So let's talk a little bit about our industry, about the today of our industry, the challenges, the future. Before that, allow me to do a quick introduction about myself. So fortunately or unfortunately, the last 14 years of my life I spent them in travel tech, in several sectors, always in executive roles, when it comes to hospitality, rental vacations, even gastronomy, even in our lovely industry, in one of the previous big marketplaces, and nowadays in transfers industry. So this kind of experience helps me a lot to create a 360 view, yeah, a more holistic view of how travel is operating or how travel will be in the future, and where is the role of our industry and into that industry, yeah, into that ecosystem. Last but not least, right? So I'm still with the yachting. I still have a few boats in Lefkas, so I'm actually in love with yachting, and that's why I'm here today. I'm very passionate to talk about where we're heading off. Yeah. So we're gonna cover a couple of topics. There are plenty of them. So if you have questions, just shoot them on the go. Yeah, let's try to make it even interactive, if possible. So we're going to talk a little bit about the status quo, the trends, the Gen Z, the role of the agencies, the ability of tech, how to use tech and grow. So we will try to go through all of them and land somewhere at the end. First of all, the status quo. Where are we standing right now, right? So right now we are sitting on, let's say, 8 to 10 billions industry with an average growth 4 to 6%. Not bad, not so good. It's rather steady. We all know key markets is the Mediterranean, which represents 70%, I think, of all the volumes. Caribbean, and then we have some newbies like the Middle East, like a lot in luxuries there, and emerging markets in the Southeast Asia. Now, what's more important is right now the industry is in a bit of a transitional period, right? 65% of the travelers, they want digital seamless booking experiences, yeah? And that's where we suffer. That's where we really need to change the way we operate, because that's a struggle that the industry is facing. Because if I move to that slide, and excuse me a little bit on the colors, but if you see on the pie on the top, nearly 50%, almost 50% of all the bookings in our industry are fully manual, and around 30% hybrid. That means 80%, 8 out of 10 bookings in our industry are not fully digital, are not automated. Yeah. On the same time, the travelers, they're expecting three things. They're expecting transparency. Yeah. They have the expectations to convert just like hotels, like any other travel product. We see more and more the last minute trend popping up. Yesterday in the panel was even the discussion like, how can that be that last minute bookings in all other travel sectors, the prices are going to the roof, and in our industry go to the bottom? Yeah, especially, and also, they are also looking for seamless experiences. Yeah, so a little bit also about how the operators, the charters operators are running their business right now. They're facing several challenges, right? So first of all, they're using several platforms where at the end doesn't help them to have centralized operations, and this can cause even up to 5% double bookings. Yeah, they run a lot of manual processes in their business. Up to 40% is manual as we speak as a charter operator. So we are losing a lot of time on answering those emails, on answering those questions that could be actually avoided with the power of technology. We're going to talk in a bit about it. Yeah. And also, what is another thing is the differentiation problem. We cannot show on a good way why our fleet is unique, why a boat is unique, why this marina is special, why my service is a little bit different than the others, which at the end will benefit on the revenues of our businesses. Yeah? And of course, if we combine them also with the seasonalities effect and so on, it doesn't make the picture better. Moving forward, this is for me my favorite slide. That's something I'm talking about 5 years now. Our product, our travel product, the boat, it's not a different product, it's a unique. It's a combi of the 3 travel products, which is accommodation, transportation, and experience. You rent a boat, you have a place to stay. You can go from A to B wherever you want, and at the same time you can have an amazing experience. That's a very powerful product as we speak. Yeah, that is something that, to me, that I believe we are sitting in a gold mine. That is where now it's time to make it shine. Yeah. A little bit, and I will try to be as fast as possible in that section. Some travel trends of today. Some buzzwords already been mentioned even yesterday, right? Such as sustainability. We have the personalized experiences, the Gen Z effect, the experiences. We live also the creators economy with all these influencers, with all those videos over there. So this is what we are dealing now. Those are the macroeconomic and cultural trends we observe right now in our society. But starting with the first is, to me, a very buzzword and a very important is the whole sustainability, which is going to come more and more in our lives. It was very interesting discussion yesterday where at the end we said, sustainability. Boats are plastic. It doesn't make so much of a sense. Still, I do believe more and more this topic will be prominent and visible in our industry, but also that's something that the travelers want. 2 out of 3 travelers as we speak, they are searching for sustainable options. Yeah. Also, personalization shapes demand. The travelers becoming more and more sophisticated. They want to build the itinerary, their experience based on their needs, based on their wishes. Yeah. So, for instance, in our world, they want interest rates routes. They want to have options that can actually fit the match. What are my dates and what the boat I want, right? So, and all those things, this personalization is very important. This is something that we all need. Best example here, whenever you use booking.com or Expedia and you search for a hotel and put all the filters, the next time you're going to search in that platform, you're going to see results based on your last filters. That's how they're using it, right? So that's the power of data, that's the power of personalization, which increases conversions. Gen Z, that's a new generation. We all have to learn about them. That's our kids, by the way. Yeah, so those are our future customers. They are different than even millennials, but right now Gen Z and millennials represent 55% of all the bookings out there. So we have to put attention on them. Gen Z specifically, they are searching about experiences, right? So they are searching also actually shareable experience and actually original experience over luxury. They don't care so much on their luxury. They're very digital, right? So they want, they're gonna go on an instant booking. They don't wanna talk. They want to simplify the way the whole conversion happens. And of course, sustainability is also important to them. This is the generation that's gonna pop up in our lives in the upcoming years. Yeah, we need to learn about them. Some of them, me as millennial, are also still a little bit weird, right? So we need to learn who those folks are. Challenges and opportunities. The first challenge, and I do believe we all agree here, is the digital gap we are facing. We are rather 10 years behind the other travel sectors when we talk about hotels or aviation. Yeah. On the same time, our real-time availability and pricing is not on the stage it should be, and of course, that has as a result of delivering inconsistent experiences, and at the end, the revenues are not following We're not so digital as supposed to be. That's the one sentence I can tell you here. Where at the end, also, we combine it with some other challenges, right? So our industry is heavily seasonal. Our industry is nearly, 7 months, 8 months per year. So that doesn't make our lives easier. And when, on the same time, we are not having technology at the stage we want, and we still are extremely reliant on our conducts. Especially on that context, I see it more and more. I was in the summit 2 years ago, and I remember in a panel we spent 20 minutes on a discussion whose customer is. Guys, there are billions of travelers out there traveling every day, every year, every summer. We just need to reach them. Let's not focus on the tree, focus on the forest here. Yeah? But unfortunately, that's one of the things we are dealing right now. To me, the biggest challenge we face is the standardization. 70% of the content of our boats is catalog pictures or non-high quality pictures or random pictures with people, animals, whatever you want to have over there. One tip I can give you on the pictures, whenever you want to show the pictures, you should never have a human or an animal over there, because the human eye will be attracted to the human of the picture and not to the product, which is the room, which is the boat, which is actually what you want to show to the customer. On the same time, we have non-standardized metadata attributes, and the best example, and I shared it yesterday, is we have cleaning fee. On the same time, we're calling it transit lock, we're calling it starter pack, we're calling it comfort pack. What other words? I think one folk yesterday said there are 14 different variations of this term, which is the most basic term. It's simply the cleaning fee. Now imagine I'm a newbie in that industry and I'm searching for boats, and I found 4 boats somewhere, and then each of them has a different terminology on that simple thing, which is even an obligatory cost, which potentially doesn't even make sense to be excluded from the total price. Would you book directly? Obviously not. You will be confused. You will ask your agent, what is this about? Or you're going to say, too time consuming, too confusing, let me go to a villa, let me go to a hotel, maybe next year. That's where you lose it. The most basic example, I don't want to go into more other specific fields, but we have to standardize it. It's standardized across the industry. Yeah. And of course, this, as I explained, this lack of content, yeah, lack of standardization in the metadata doesn't build trust. Quite the opposite, builds fear. In the contrary, we also have plenty of hidden revenue opportunities, right? So this is where we can maximize the way we are operating, maximize our revenues. We have all the add-ons we can actually push through our business on a digital way or even in a more offline way. We can become way, way better with the power of dynamic pricing, yield pricing, right? This is where the solution to what I mentioned earlier today, like why a hotel on a last minute rate in summer increases the price and we actually put it to the very bottom. And don't be afraid with yield. Don't be afraid that the yield will screw the prices. If it's set up properly, and I've seen it a lot, because in my previous industry was the rental vacations industry. Rental vacations industry is right now hotelery of 2018-19. So there are other 5 years behind, yeah, which they tried to speed up, but they are 5 years behind. So now they learn about those things. And I work with several platforms over there and even design a white label solution. And it's all about setup. If you set it up, if you put your max price, your median price, you tell the system, push, go more aggressive, go more conservative, it will work. Try it. Trial and error never hurts. Don't go full scale to all boats. Maybe try with a boat. See, learn, and iterate. At the end, you're going to win. Another thing where I do believe it's a hidden gem is this, packaging. Packaging. Our product is perfect for packaging, 7 days itineraries. It even supports the standard bookings we have, especially in Med, right? Build it as a package. Sell it as a package to the customer. That's the price, done. Simplify. Yeah, that's something I haven't seen it, something that, for example, I see more and more in other industries. And I know this now very well because in the industry I'm right now, in the airport transfers industry, it is part of the package. And I'm working with all the big travel agencies in the world who offer those kind of services, and I see them how they operate. And I'm asking them, do you offer boats? And they no. I ask, why? We don't know. How? What is this? Yeah. So that's another big thingy there. Let's talk a little bit about how technology can help us grow, can help us improve the way we're running our business. And of course, next to that, what is this audience engagement, audience segmentation? Technology is more than critical nowadays. It's an efficiency engine, automation can make our lives way, way easier, can save a lot of time from us. Don't forget I mentioned 40% of the charter operations are purely manual. Yeah, if we make it 20%, then we save significant time. It's a sales multiplier. It's a way to reach the markets, way to reach more broader audience. And of course, it's an experience enhancer. At the end of the day, with the automation that technology can offer you, we only can win. And it's also, I'm so happy that in the charters panels, they talked a lot about those things. They talk a lot that how automation can help us become better as business. Here are a few examples, right? We can have automated quotes. We can have a real-time availability. We can have smart follow-ups and reminders. We can even have a 24/7 AI bot serving the customers on basic questions. Let me go to my example before. You don't need to reply on a manual email. What on earth is transit log or cleaning fee? An AI bot can do it for you. Yeah. One little thing, with with the power of automation, you potentially save 2 times. You will have 2 times less emails to answer, for example, or something like that. Yeah. So this is where technology can help us. And of course, again, if we go to smart pricing and yield, this can help also closing the low season gaps, avoid wasted inventory. Let's not forget we're a seasonal business, right? So that means a day or a week that is passing, it never comes back. Yeah? We're not a city hotel 365. We have the flexibility and freedom to lose some days. In our industry, that's not an option, right? This is an enhancer, right? So less wasted inventory, increased revenue by offering tech-driven and dynamic pricing. You know, now it's very manual. Now what do? We go on the listing of MMK or on the marketplace and go and check potentially similar boats, how the competition is going and lose time. And we do it, 1-2 times per year, and then it's a mess. And we get confused, and then potentially we are using several platforms, and one platform says price A, the other platform price B, then the agent writes you why that platform is cheaper, and you try to explain that you're not an elephant, that obviously it's a human mistake, but this is what's happening. So we are losing time, we are not bringing value, we are not bringing efficiency, and at the end of the day, we create a hole in the water. Try some stuff, yeah? I've seen it working. I mean, I do believe here it's gonna work also for us. Last but not least here, right? So we also need to attract our customers based on their needs. We need to make an audience segmentation. We have luxury seekers, we have adventurers, we have families, we have the Gen Z, right? So that lovely generation that's coming on. We have also corporates potentially, yeah? They're not the same customer, they don't need the same thing. Personal experience from one of my boats, I have a 4 cabins Hanse, very basic, right? And I had a group of folks, came back, no issues, gave me 1-star review. I asked them why. What went wrong? I spoke with my base, said, what on earth have happened there? Nothing. No complaints, nothing. The answer I got is, we were looking for something more luxurious, and the money was not an issue, and we thought that's not gonna be so basic amenities or whatever. And I said, all right, here we are. We missed the segment. Yeah, very simple. They booked the wrong boat. Yeah, and I actually explained them, but actually next time you need a bigger boat, you need a different type of boat. different amenities, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Now, let's go a little bit on the side of the agency side, right? So from where potentially the demand is coming, right? So I do believe the role of agencies is and will be very important. But from my point of view, this is where we also need to do some brave steps towards change. Our agencies right now are very traditional, are rather a legacy, and they are heavily manual and offline operated business. So they're heavily based also on their networks. That's why we have the fights of whose customer is and why you give a cheaper price to my customer and why this and why that. Yeah. Or even we have the online agencies that also they are, for me, they are not OTAs, they're not the classic OTAs, they're rather hybrids, which are running at high cost and severe unprofitability. Yeah, these things need to change. These things, guys, right? So we have to actually, they have to become more digital. They have to embrace the instant booking. They have to create the pressure even to MMK or to the charters to bring standardization. Yeah, they have to also stop the bidding war. Yeah, that's the price. You don't call Hilton and say, give me a better rate. That's it. That's the price, take it or leave it. And at the end, they also have to go and become more attractive, especially to the younger travelers. Yeah, because our folks now, all those 55, 60 years old sailors, all right, they are arriving there to an end, right? We need the new ones, or let them be there, but we also need more. I heard yesterday, and I was a little bit sad to hear it, like from several charter operators in Croatia, we have too much supply. I politely disagree. I think we don't have enough demand. Demand is there, we just don't go and reach it. It can't that be. It can't that be that a bunch of thousands, MMK, I mean, how many boats we have in Croatia? 3, 5,000, 6,000 boats? Can that be that we cannot sell them out? It cannot, period, right? So I'm sure you agree with me. So let's work towards that, yeah? And then here is how agencies can also stay competitive, as discussed, right? Partner with tech providers, work together towards that, how we can become more automated, how we can embrace instant booking, right? Build the expertise on the new destinations, give the right guidance to the travelers, because to me they have to become more of experienced architects, not booking agents. You sell an experience, you don't sell a boat, right? Remember, we are covering the 3 travel products, right? And packaging can also be a game changer here, right? And of course, use data. Data is a key element of success. Data is something we don't use at all in our industry. Yeah. So data is a key element of success. Let's talk a little bit what can we learn from other travel sectors, right? We have hotels, aviation, and tours and activities. So hotels, revenue management is everything over there. That's how they live, clearly, right? And of course, they embrace loyalty programs. I don't think loyalty programs is so easy on us, but revenue management is something we can get out of them. Aviation, they're the masters of real-time pricing. How many times we search for a flight and we say, stop, I'm not refreshing the page, I'm not changing anything, we're calling friends and partners and say, we have to book it now, we're gonna lose that price. Because the next second you're gonna refresh your page, there's gonna be a different price. You can also see that on the same moment, same search, different price on the browser, different price on the app, different price even on the mobile app, on the mobile version, right? So they are the masters. That's something we could also do, yeah? And obviously, tours and activities, they are all built their business about content, about the experience, about the dream, what I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna guide you through the world of Disneyland, and you're gonna go through those roller coasters and so on. But that's a multi-billion also industry, and we have seen also how a couple of companies grew lately so much. Don't forget, experience was the biggest hype of travel the last few years, and we've seen companies like Get Your Guide and Clock heavily invested in a very serious amount of money. Yeah. What can we learn from them and what we can adapt? Branding. You need to go out there and tell them, look, hello world, here we are. And boat rental is not a simply rental, it's an experience. It's the best experience you will ever have in your life. I do believe it, right? We have to embrace technology and embrace also data. With those two, we will understand better who is our customers, what do they need, and how can I offer it to them in an easy way, yeah, in a smooth, seamless, and easy way. Yeah. And last but not least, let's go and knock the door to the broader travel audience, multi-channel distribution. Yeah. It's not only the agencies, the yachting agencies, or our classic OTAs out there. I mean, I'm still asking myself, right? When I open Expedia, as we speak today, I see hotel, I see packages, I see flights, I see car rentals, I see transfers. Why is not boats there? Same as booking. I was in Madrid in a booking conference in October, and they were talking about adding trains even now. They want to add train tickets next to all the products. And they want to create all those folks, they want to create one-stop shop. I don't know if you heard that the biggest launch of Airbnb this year, the experiences, right? So they start offering these local experiences. They go to the ancillaries. They add more. So it's time for also for us, and actually we are a very lucrative product for them. Yeah? So this will help us for the broader travel audience. Few takeaways I would like you to take from today, and there's one more slide also, very similar to that. But where, first of all, is the digital lag. Let's do self-reflection, where we are here. It's not a bad thing. It's evolutionary, but we need to reflect that this is something that we need to stop. We have to evolve towards the customer needs, understand better them, go and make them happy, and then use technology to embrace the way we're running our business. I used yesterday an example of how technology can help humans. So if you have an apple tree, right, and the apple is there, and I'm doing with my hand and I try to reach the apple, right, I cannot. Technology is the one that will actually make my arm longer to grab the apple. That's the power of what I'm talking about right now. Yeah. Obviously, as we discussed about the agency imperative, and of course, early adopters advantage. But where I want to go here. My life's motto, sky's not the limit, because if we put limits, then we actually are a little bit unfair towards ourselves. And I don't like the phrase sky's the limit because it puts a ceiling on my head, and I don't want it. So it's not the limit. Humans are limitless. Yachting industry is limitless. Let's go and discover it. And I'm sure, and actually yesterday I was super happy hearing it from the charters themselves. Like, we are gonna go in the era of seamless booking. We're gonna go in the era of personalized itineraries, smart pricing, and also one thing that stood out of me, and I even forgot to mention it before, is I heard charters telling me, you know what, I start testing non-standard offering, and it works. And I said, yes, that's what we need. Yeah, I start testing it slowly, and I see that it somehow creates revenue. I start potentially testing a bit cabin charter, and it works also. It's more attractive. So that's good news, right? Experimentation. We have to go there. Yeah. Of course, sustainability will be a topic. Last but not least, let's work together on that. Build strong partnerships. Yeah. I think we should relax a little bit ourselves on fighting whose customer is and here and there, but rather go all collectively, upgrade the industry, be more attractive, and at the end, a lot of cool stuff will pop up. That's pretty much it from me, folks, today. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, more than happy.
I have a question for you. So you focus a lot on AI integration with booking process, and you talk also about the importance of experience. How can you combine AI with human touch in booking? So if I'm booking a 14-day charter for $20,000, I need somebody to talk to, for example.
When you book a $14,000 daily price of a villa, do you need to talk to someone?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm traveling with family and kids and want to
Same.
see some spots, I would want to talk to someone.
So let me go one step back. Where the AI here can help. For example, the AI can instantly, you as a customer, you go to the platform, you don't need to reach to anyone. You ask immediately, hey, I want to rent that boat for 14 days. Can you please give me more information about the boat specs and a proposed itinerary? And actually, by the way, I'm gonna come there with my family. My kids are 5 and 8 years old. We wanna do scuba diving. We're gonna go, we don't wanna sail too much, la la la. In potentially few seconds, you have all the information you need. And potentially the AI immediately will even give you a question on top. Do you want me to propose you something alternative? Do you want something similar in a different country? Or what is your budget? Do you want to change something, whatever, right? So this is where it speeds up. Right now, what's happening, even if you don't need to talk to someone, because the same information a human can give you, the AI can actually provide you. The thing here is how you feed the information to the AI. So we need to give the right information to the AI to provide it to the customer. An AI agent also can be we can actually humanize them a bit. So it's when you build an AI agent, you actually become an AI trainer. So you need to give them guidelines. That was a good answer. That was a bad answer. There you need to be a little bit more friendly. When it's on the quoting, you need to be a little bit more harsh, right? More pushy. But still, this is already help. You don't need to talk to anyone if someone can provide you the information. Let me go in a different sector. How many of us will have tax questions and we go to ChatGPT today? How many of us have legal questions and we go to tax? How many of us have our kids sick and we ask ChatGPT? I can promise you a lot, more and more. Yeah, and this is where AI can help us. And of course, when it comes to the booking, I always say, come on, I've seen with my eyes. I mean, when I was at Trivago, I could see what they were converting. I mean, the customers are booking multi-thousand euros or dollars properties with the power of a button. Yeah.
I mean, I completely understand the question. I think that he wanted to ask like where the line is, because I know from my personal experience, if I'm paying for something a bit more, I would like the service back. And I feel like AI is often like a cheap solution, which people use to, avoid maybe paying personnel, because in long term it is cheaper. So where do you draw the line? Where does AI stop? Do you use it in crude charter as well? How far along in the process do you use it? Is it just like for first questions, or is it used, for further booking in the whole process?
To me, it's two parts of the journey. It's the booking journey and it's the experience, right? The experience is human service, right? So if I have a crew charter, you obviously need the captain, you need the crew there, you need to give them all the commodities they're looking for. AI can be a very big support and help until they book, for instance. AI can help you a lot and I heard it even yesterday, on a check-in process of a three cabin sailboat economy class, right? Yeah, this is where it can help you. I cannot give you there is no right or wrong answer on that, right? So I cannot even predict what's gonna be. I only can tell you that right now it's an instrument that we can use it. Yes, AI might take jobs away or whatever. I do believe AI is pivoting jobs. I have customer service teams where I actually pivot those folks from being traditional agents to become AI trainers. They're creating the content, they're checking the AI agent, how it's responding. They go into other roles. Do I still need so many people? Potentially not. But that's a different story, I think, for a different kind of speech.
I wanted to ask him tomorrow, but do you think that the customer experience of your clients then is now better when you have this, let's say, new development? Or do you think it stayed the same?
I think it's better because the customers can get instant answers. They don't need to wait. I mean, if I get all my answers in a minute, that's all what I need, right? So I find it way, way better. Because think about it as a traveler, right? I'm at 10 o'clock in the evening because I now have time to think about my holiday after 10 hours of working days, kids and wife ready to kill me, and so on. And I need all the answers now, but no one is available. So either I will send an email and tomorrow I will check again, and then I will potentially come back with other questions, or immediately I will get all my answers to potentially 90%, which will speed up the whole process. Yeah. How many people are using now AI for flight search? I mean, we are all saying, yeah, I'll go to ChatGPT and search for your flights. It's going to find you the best routes and the best fares and everything. There you are.
Hello.
Hello.
Christina from Sustainable Sailing Greece. We just did a talk on sustainability, and it was great to see some of the messages reflected in your presentation. So thank you, Ioannis. I think my question is like, the sky's not the limit for yachting, but nature is. And I was just asking, do you have any good examples of platforms and AI that's able to give information on the carrying capacity? Because we're also hearing many charter companies and their clients are like, oh, I went there, it was so busy, I didn't have that nice experience that you just said, because I couldn't even get a berth and there's 600 boats trying to anchor. So is there anything that's going to help us with that in the future, do you think?
I mean, we need to educate our customers, right? I know, for instance, that the one thing that pollutes most the sea is sun cream. That's by far the worst, nothing else. So obviously, let's go in our industry today. We have standard bookings, right? So Saturday to Saturday. So we have the checkout at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we have the check-in starting at 1. And you have a fleet to prepare the damages, clean the boats, yada, 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 do the checkout, the check-ins, and so on. So no time to do proper, even education on the basics. Here where you can have AI to help you, right? To give tips and tricks. Somewhere I mentioned also, like that you can build even CRM journeys during the journey to tips and tricks on how to sail sustainable. I just mentioned the most basic. If you plan to wear your sun cream, wait a bit, let it dry, then jump in the water. Learning of the day, this saves, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Another tip, recycling on the boat. Yesterday, yes, we said potentially it can be a challenge, but let's start from somewhere. Don't throw all your garbage into one pot. Split them. It's there for you. Second tip of the day. And you can do this. And this is actually, it's not even an AI, even CRMs and so on, but this can pop up there. And the good news is technology comes more and more to our daily lives, the way we are living, right? So all of us now, if you put us alone for 10 seconds, we're gonna turn on our phone, all. A few years ago, that would never be the case. So there you are.
Ioannis, we have a question from our virtual visitor. Gabor from Condor Charter asks, don't you think there is Barcelona syndrome if the growth is going on and the sailing areas cannot?
If the growth goes on?
Yes, I believe what he means is if we keep on growing and the sailing areas cannot support that.
Why not to be able to support that? I don't understand.
Gabor, can you clarify what you mean by that?
I mean, if we talk about marinas and there are not berths in the marinas, I mean, I'm saying this for years now. The example is like rent a car business, right? So if we have a rental car business and I have 100 cars, so I need 100 parking spots? No, because the cars are in the move. Our problem here is the Saturday to Saturday. So that means I need to have one day to bring them all in and to get them out all together. So if we move to a more non-standard, right? So travel behavior, yeah, so the travel industry, then you have boats coming in, going out every day. That means you don't need a berth per boat. You just need this berth, enough berths to cover the demand, your supply, while their boats are on the move. Yeah, that's one thing. Because that was a problem a few years ago when the boat sales were to the roof, and then we're all complaining, but where we're going to put it, we don't have marinas. So here we are. I didn't hear it as a problem nowadays, by the way. But if that was the question, then I hope I answered it. If not, maybe some clarification.
May I? I heard you actually yesterday at the panel talking about exactly this thing, like you don't need a berth for each boat. So I'm a charter business, and I ask you, do you do winter maintenance? Do you know what winter maintenance mean? Do you know that you by law have to have a berth for each boat? And I think actually the question you got online wasn't only the home port of the boats, because this is, yeah, as you ask, what will happen? Will we have some tools in future which will help our customers not to get already at noon to the base because they have to fuel up and they're losing basically the last day? And it's not only this, but it's the fact that, for example, if we talk about Croatia, Croatia has too many boats, exclamation mark. So this is non-negotiable because, why? Croatia is a small country, that's the first thing. When they're out of the home ports, I mean, they're sailing somewhere, they're going somewhere, right? Croatia is only as big as it gets. The sustainability, unfortunately, goes down with the number of boats, because not even if they go to the marinas, but if they anchor, it's the, let's say, the footprint they leave with anchoring, it's a disaster. So Croatia is now doing new buoys and something. So I don't think that we should, in any discussion, if we want to be sustainable and be here in future, talk about getting bigger. It's not about getting bigger. It's about getting more transparent. It's about getting not only the charters to have transparent offers of their boat and things like this, but as well the agencies. Because if, I mean, let's be honest, for the last few years, the main topic in our industry is one online platform. Even though there are 5 more doing the same thing, but they're not this big. And this is our main topic, which I find sad, right?
Okay.
Because at the end, you are selling your product, you're giving it a price. And if this one platform is pushing down your price, what do we hear from 99% of other agents, which are serious? You know, but I have to give 2% more of a discount. So they're not, that's my concern. They're not even capable anymore of selling it for the same price, even though they're the ones selling the experience and telling and educating the guests about the product than the online platform. So I think we should shift our whole discussions into this part, and AI won't help, because the people need to understand it first in order to create those AIs. Because if we now, with our logic, intelligence, logic, knowledge, if we start to generate AIs, this will be a disaster. Because I guarantee you that a lot of people involved in our business, they don't know the answer. So how on earth should they teach it to an AI agent? It's impossible.
You touched several points. I want to start with let's politely agree to disagree in many things. I will tell you one thing, first of all. 3 years ago, the problem of Croatia and Greece was we don't have enough boats. I was in the industry. 2021, 2022, 2020, I was there. There were no availability on the classic boat lines in Croatia and in Greece. I know the statistics. You might not disagree, but I was...
It was not the standard year, it was Corona, and it was only... It was not standard year in our standard business, and it was only during the peak months. So if you would have come in, I don't know, April, May, October, November, you would have a lot of boats. So this is another issue.
And that's thank you. You just gave me the best pass to me, because the problem we have, and that is clearly, thank you for raising it. we should stop focusing on what X platform is doing or what X agent is doing. You are a chart. By the way, I have boats. I'm a boat owner, right? So I don't care personally who sells what and how. I'm not going to drop my margin. That's the price, take it or leave it. This hotel, as we speak here, sells the hotel room price. You can find it in 20 different variations. That's how the game works. That's price parity. We know this. We are operating like this. You go to Amazon, you find the same product in different prices. You go on Flight, Sudo, Flight Meta, same thing. Trivago, Hotel Meta, same thing. So that's normal to me, that an agency A sells a boat €1, the other one 99 cents, the other one 101. It's up to them how to build their brand, how to reach broader audience, how to do their own business. Okay, that's it. The problem we face here, we are focusing on the tree and we're forgetting the forest. And the forest is what I mentioned, is that we don't go to the broader travel audience. We don't have, and that was even stated, I have 5 charters in the States yesterday, and they all stated the same. We don't have new customers. We are recycling again and again the same. Hemula, yeah, every year. That's, you know what? This is countdown to death. And we have to change it. And it's not the AI. My message here is, how can we build the brand of the boat? How we can tell them, hey, this is a cool experience at an affordable price. Maybe a packaging could be an option. How we can educate all our agencies, no matter what's the name behind, to sell the product better. How to go to MMK and say, why on earth I have 20 different variations of a cleaning fee? Can we standardize us a bit? This is a problem. This is a massive problem. Because then more customers will come and visit it. Because I will stand on that. I do believe the problem is not the supply, the problem is the demand. Is the demand. You talk to me, Croatia is a small country. Greece is a small country. Do we know how many hotels, how many rooms we have? In Greece, we have potentially a room that could feed the whole country multiple times. Multiple times. In front of you, there are 2 girls from Mykonos. Yeah. If we put all the visitors of Mykonos next to each other, potentially they don't fit sometimes in the island. Still, it's working. Still, it's running. Why not to happen in our industry? At least I don't understand it. I don't know how. I mean, it sounds to me a little bit weird how I say it. But again, we need demand. Demand. And then,
Ioannis, maybe just to put the question a different way,
yeah.
As hotels sell out, it could be in August, the Ionian has sold out because the carrying capacity of the bays and the natural ability to deal with boats has a limit. So it will sell out. We can't put twice as many boats there. So I think that my question that you understood, and I think online said the same thing, is like, how can we use technology to guide that? Because it's not limitless. You can't have, and customers don't want to have rafted up, 600 boats in one tiny bay. So the capacity isn't there to be limitless. How do we understand that and build the systems that help booking within that carrying capacity of the bays of the marina?
No, I mean, we talked about this. I mean, first of all, since yesterday, I'm hearing like, we have enough boats, we don't need more boats because the boats are not getting fully booked. And I have an objection on that. On your topics, you need a technology to make your life more easy. You don't need to reply on manual emails about basic stuff. You need technology to even improve the way you communicate with your base team or with anyone. I mean, let's say you have several bases with all your base managers, with all your technicians, yada, 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 right? Maybe technology here is the other thing, right? So we forget one element, which we barely talk about it, is the so-called investors, right? They are also in the pure darkness. Yeah, what's going on with my boat? What is the damages, the repairing costs, the winter maintenance here and there? Nothing. There's not. Why don't we give them something that, hey, you know what? There is a report. Here's the report. Here is the cost of the damage. There you are. You need to know it, right? Give them transparency. Because, again, as a boat owner, that was one of the first things I said. Jesus, I mean, I don't know what I'm paying, right? This will also avoid frustration, equals time, will build trust, will bring people that they are actually more easy going to manipulate, to not manipulate, to work with, but also, I'm not saying that they will stop complaining, right? So it's a specific animal, the boat owner, but at least will make our lives easier, right? And then automation towards the customer communication. Here, you can find everything. Here's a chatbot, answer this. We are chatting all day long. We are all with WhatsApp. And now you're telling me we don't writing to each other. Come on, we're doing it, right? We're all using ChatGPT today. All. And potentially half in this room are even premium subscribers. Let's cut a little bit of crap here, right? So there are ways. The way is, are we ready to change ourselves? Are we ready to devote time to learn some new things? It's been mentioned, right? How a charter operator wanted to learn about AI. They don't need to learn. Actually, I'm also, when this thing came, it's not that I knew it before. There were people, there are companies, they give you the solution, they explain you how to do it, they make it even an easy to set up product. So there we are, let's try out things. And I'm not saying like whatever I'm saying here is like gonna work, but let's start trying. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you guys.